Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
See what we got right now. The only alert that I'm seeing is, what is this one? A Euro Aussie 15-minute buy. Let's take a look at that one. It's got a, I don't have any other alerts because it wasn't up and running. That's why. Euro Aussie. Let's get this thing. Some of these other charts minimized here.
We see your trading view. I'm not sure if you knew that or not. We don't see your arrow.
Oh, okay. That's what I was showing that screen with Matt, and let me get myself set up here. And this is not the one I want. This is the one I want. There we go. And gotta get everything set up here so I can see where my tabs are. And we should be on the right one here, number. Okay, let's see. And we wanted the Euro Aussie, I believe is what we were looking at. Maybe tile this. And here's a Euro Aussie. We had a down bounce arrow, down arrow. Now we are just above the 200 moving average. Now we do have to see what our direction is. We are in an uptrend with the down arrow. That seems to be very typical these days. Let's go put an arrow into the upside. Here's our zone. We have our 200 moving average right here is coming right into the 200 moving average. I would anticipate a bounce off of that. So right now I would be looking at it, the best target area for this one. This would be contra trend because we're not past the 8 o'clock hour yet. And so this is probably not going to be a great, if we caught this way back here, we may have had a little bit better shot at it, even though it was contra trend. Yeah, that would have been 55. Yeah, that would still be good. Now, from where it is right now, I wouldn't take it right now when it's already out of the chute, out of the alert path, but also looking downward, roughly 20 pips to the downside. And let's see, Euro, how strong is the Aussie is real strong right now. So that's one reason why it's going to the downside. It would have some potential, but I'm going to stay away. I don't like chasing trades. If we were able to get in right here, if we were caught where the alert was, I've been more apt to do that. But right now, it looks like it's breaking the overnight low. Let's get a line on this thing and see if we can make some heads or tails out of this. I'm going to bring up my objects list, bring my open trades. And we're going to be looking at somewhere around the 155.14 to get started. 14. And go 1.55. 30, call it. I think these two zones right now where it is. What we do is I'm going to bring this line up to the bottom of the overnight session. And bring this one up to the top of the, bring this one to the top of the overnight section prior to the money zone. So this is basically the area, this is the overnight high and low before we get to the money zone, which is at my time, 8 o'clock or 8 o'clock on my chart time. This is going to be on the 24th. Today's the 24th.
Yeah, it is.
So here's where the money zone starts. We're just now getting a break below the overnight low. Well, I'd say this one's almost tempted to take anyway, even though it's contra trend. I think it's, I say take it at will, take it at your own risk. I'm going to pass on it just because it's well out of the chute. It has a nice little drop basing. It could very well go down to this other level. Let's see at 55.23. It is contra trend, so keep that one in mind. 23 to 63. So here would be your stop, would be right up about in this area, right above where the arrow is, and then the target would be. I wouldn't go much more beyond the 200 moving average for a target. Let's see, where's my target?
That might not be 10 pips, eh?
It was right about 19 pips, I think, Matt.
To the 200?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, my eyes are off. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was pretty. I'll double check that, but I think it was pretty close to the 20 pips. 47, 1.5487. And so it's 55.22, so let's call it 55.02. 55.02 is right there. So you actually have, well, we're not at that point anymore. So if you got in there, that's 16. So that'd be 496. You're going to be right at that 200 moving average on the bounce on that.
That's really not bad.
It's not bad. It's contra trend. It's I would not go for the. I'd probably maybe cut it off at maybe 15 pips somewhere around in this area. I'd be maybe looking at taking my profits. Well, you could maybe get 10 pips out of this. I wouldn't know. I maybe want to go for 10 pips. The Aussie is the strongest of all the pairs. Euro is getting kind of close to being. It's in the third bottom three pretty much for the most part, about the middle of the pack. So there's a little bit of downward pressure. I don't know if that 10 pips could be a hard 10 pip road, but that's I'm not taking it, but I do think there's some potential there.
Al, could you bring Christine over, please?
I can. Yep. Let me pull her over here real quick. Where'd she go? There she is. And there we are. I think she should be here any second now. There she is. Okay. Very good. Everybody's here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yep. The gang's all here. So right now we're looking. Anybody have any more alerts from earlier? As mine just got started when I now got my BPS up and running again here. So
let's have a look here.
And let's see. Let's take a look at the British Aussie. I'll take a look at the Aussie pairs because they're the ones. Aussie's the strongest. That one's already in the zone. We'll pass on that. Let's see over here. Euro Aussie. We took a look at that one. And let's go to anything that's Aussie CAD. That could be an interesting Aussie British. We already talked about that one. Aussie yen. Let's try that one. Let's take a look at that. Aussie yen. Here we go. Aussie strong. The yen is one of the weaker ones. If we can get through this little section right here, we did have a bounce arrow. We have this little section right here, so this could be a possibility if it can break through this little red zone here. Let's see, are we in an uptrend or we're in a downtrend? Again, these are pretty much all showing contra trend trades. That's not unusual for the overnight session where it's taking positions. Down arrow, So we have a down arrow here. I'm going to put it on up this one, and I'm going to put another one at this little zone that's may get broken through. We do have a down arrow right here. And we're looking at the 8286 area. Uh, 8286. And we're going to go with a 8296. There's 10 pips. It's got to get pretty much has to go 10 pips up beyond where it is right now to get through that little zone. Once it gets through there, it'll be not too bad. 24. I don't know if it's going to maintain the strength at that point in time, but we'll see. We'll check out some of the yesterday's money zone. This was the well, actually here we have. This is yesterday's money zone. Right, this green area right here is where the green line is right at the bottom of yesterday's money zone. And let's just move this down to the bottom of where the lowest body of the candle of the overnight session is. We'll move this to the top of the overnight session. It did break yesterday's money zone coming over during the overnight. And now it's kind of retesting this area. I still probably like it better when it gets ready to, in fact, it's in a downtrend. I'd much rather try and take it when it comes up here, it bounces off of here, and then maybe gives us another arrow of some sort. But right now, it's sort of range bound right now. I'd like to see a close above this green line here, using this for a target. If the Aussie can maintain the strength through the next couple hours. Measure the area from here to the 200 moving average. That's 31 pips. There's enough room to take that trade. It'd be contra trend, but we have to wait. Like I said, I want to say get through this little area right here. This is a retest area. Drop, based, dropped, coming back up, retesting this little zone right here. And if it can break that, then we have this whole area here. Very few wicks along the side. And I'd be looking at this for a new target. But right now, there's no trade yet. And let me reset this. Check all my charts to make sure that I'm on the 15-minute chart so I get the appropriate alerts. Anybody have any particular pair they want to be looking at?
Well, there was mention of a gold, but that alert came in at 10 after 7. So
Okay.
Mark would like the Aussie New Zealand, but Mark, can you give us a time on that, please? Or is it regular 15-minute?
I guess we should just assume 15 minutes.
15.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Hang on a second. Right now I'm looking for something here. Seeing if I would see if I can get some other alerting system coming up, so maybe we can get something else to be looking at while we're waiting for these other alerts to come in. Trying to find it here. Nope, no, that's not the one. Just bear with me a second here. Let's see if we can get some iris alerts that may pop in here for us while we're waiting around. And the other thing we want to do is we want to check the news too. And let me do that with Forex Factory.
I think Powell speaks again today. He was speaking 3 days in a row.
Let's see, here's Forex Factory. Here we go. It was here someplace. We'll check the news here with Forex Factory. And here's Wednesday, 4:15 this morning. We have some Euro news, basically some Euro news overnight. And at 10 o'clock this morning, yeah, Federal Chair Powell testifies. I'm not sure what he's testifying, but apparently he may move the market a little bit around 10 o'clock on the US dollar. And other than that, things are pretty quiet for the rest of the day.
Al, can you go to the Aussie New Zealand for Mark?
Yep. Okay.
Thanks.
Yep. Let me do that. Aussie New Zealand. And let's see, Aussie New Zealand 15-minute chart. We are in a uptrend. And let's see, going arrow up. In an uptrend, we have a arrow bounce arrow. This looks like it could be a bounce arrow go. There's the entry, we're right about at the entry point. We have 38 pips to the upside. And Aussie strong. New Zealand is, let's see, get this out of the way here. New Zealand's kind of right up there with it. It's been, you can see it's been going sideways, in a very narrow range for the last several hours. I don't like that part.
Yeah, that looks like a zone might appear there soon.
Yeah, this looks kind of, I mean, there is a bounce, there is an arrow, that would be a go. We are above all the moving averages. The Aussie is the stronger of the pair, but it's, boy, I'll tell you what, it's not ranging, it's in a very, very tight range right here. We're talking, it hasn't ranged out of 10 pips in the last 3 hours. During the, of course, this is Aussie, New Zealand. They're both in the Asian session, so they're trading right now. We're trading the Asian pairs in the European session.
Mark said there was a zone there earlier this morning.
Oh, there was, and it's not there now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would like to see a little bit of a commitment that is going to, well, it does fit the strategy. We are in an uptrend. It does fit the strategy. And you could take this thing, you go for your 20 pips and just take your stop. No, I'll try this one. I mean, it fits all the criteria. It is going sideways. I don't like that part. But that sometimes when you get this move, it just starts pulling up and then it just launches and takes off. So I'll take a shot.
It's kind of like a spring.
Yeah, I'll take a lot of times the longer it goes sideways, the harder the breakout is. So I'll take a shot at this one. Oops, accept this. I got a new charge on here. So this is my first trade on my NV platform here.
Right on.
So it fits to take the trade. Didn't do that. Let me try this. There we go.
Oh, you got NV, did you?
I loaded it up yesterday while I was sitting here. I finally got it loaded up, and
Good.
There's been enough questions and talk about the stocks and cryptos and everything else I didn't have on the other ones. So I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and get it loaded up and
Bite the bullet.
bite the bullet. And so here's my 40 pip stop. Here's my 20 pip target.
It's been a good bullet for me.
And there. We'll see. We'll see if the first trade's a successful one. It says it fits the criteria. I'm not a huge fan of this one, but there is a nice little drop down. Here's the top of here's the left leg of the W. Here's the middle of the W. Here's the right leg. We had a little bit of an upward slope here. I mean, it fits all the criteria. The only thing I don't like is the fact it's been basing for so long, but I'm not sure that would be a deal. That should be a deal breaker. We have our stop well out of the way. It's our stops below our 200 moving average, our stops below the zone. And we're going to go up and we're looking, we have a little bit of an area right here where this down arrow was generated. And it may have a little bit of problem getting through that, but once it can get, this would be my target is right here at the top of this red candle's wick before it went red. So I'm okay with this. You may wait a few hours before, if it keeps on going sideways, you may have to be waiting a few hours, but it's a possibility.
What's the 5-minute look like, Al?
That's a good question. Lots of wicks, lots of this 5-minute. I mean, this does not look. I mean, this is.
Yeah, it could be. It's the same. That's not surprising though. Like you said,
it's not.
Bring right through that eventually.
But our stop is well out of the way. I mean, and again, it doesn't, just because you have a 40 pip stop doesn't mean you have to wait that long to take it. I'm okay with this trend line right here. We have this bottom of the wick right pretty much there. And we're going to adjust this. We have actually two converging trends. We got here's the anchor, here's the first hit, and then we're waiting for the third hit. But now you also see where it's making higher highs and higher lows as it's trending up, as it broke through this little downtrend. So I'm going to put another trend line along this leg. This is the left leg of the W. Here's the right leg of the W. Here's the apex of the W. Came back down, retested, have a nice little slope here. Coming up, retesting all this. And we could get a little, you can look and you see a lot of wicks right in here. So I would expect that we might get a little bit of could have a little bit of a problem getting through some of this area. But once these orders get all chewed up, it's probably it's going to take off. And I would not be surprised to see a strong move down to take out all the stops and then take everybody back up in the right direction. But this is the anchor. Here's the first hit. We can't really count this as it is a hit, but it hasn't launched off of this level yet. If it can launch off of this level and start breaking through some of these wicks and close up, I'd like to see a close above. Let me get my lines up here. I'd like to see a close above about the 109-ish area. I'd like to see a candle close above 109.01. If I get that, then I may feel like this zone will be taken off out of the way, and then we'll head up to our target. But right now, we're in the trade. We'll just see what happens. It's not going to make or break us either way, but it could be fun to watch it. And let's see, any other things we need to be paying attention to. I'm going to show you this. This is the chart that we use a lot. I'm trying to make this available. I'm having a hard time getting a hold of the developer, but we're trying to work it out so we can get this thing to you guys. But anyway, this is pretty much the heat map. You can see the Aussie is the stronger. Now it's losing a little bit of ground on the 5-minute chart. This one's a 5-minute. This one's a 15. This is the 30, and this is the 1 hour. But you see the Aussie is the strongest currency of all the 8 major currencies. It's the strongest. The British pound's the weakest on all 4. So right now I'd be okay trading anything Aussie or CAD against the British pound or the Japanese yen. So that's kind of what I look and see for looking at possible entries and options to trade. That's what I'm looking at. Handy little tool.
Yeah, it increases your odds. It's good, right? You're stacking those probabilities. Look at that candle, Al. I like that. I like that new candle that was inside the zone.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. It had a nice little bounce. It came down, bounced.
It remained above the arrow moving average and your trend line.
Yep.
I like that. And then you got a flat top. You got a wedge at the top there too, right?
And I do like the fact that the Aussie is kind of a little bit out of its market zone with the European Asian pairs, but I do think it has some potential. I think we got in at a good time anyway.
Watch me as I say that; it just comes crashing down.
Yeah,
which is usually what happens.
Yeah, we did get into a British Swiss pair yesterday. This was actually in Jackie's session. We got into a swing trade with the British Swiss yesterday, and it's not behaving very nicely, but it's still well within our 100 pip stop range.
Yeah.
Oh, I found something. I found something out, and Nate corrected me on this yesterday. He doesn't teach 100 pip stop loss on swing trades.
No, he doesn't. Then he must have changed that because that's what it used to be. What's he teaching now on that?
The zone.
Just the zone? Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
but I'm going to review that strategy too, because he's like, no, we don't talk about 100 pip take profit. I'm like,
that's a pretty hefty stop loss.
It's massive in my opinion.
Yeah. I think basically if you look at trades and you can If you can have a moving average or a zone between you and your trade, that's usually pretty comfortable for the most part. And most of the time, that's going to serve you well as far as that. And that way you can cut down your risk level. You can increase your lot size for the same dollar risk value, and it works a little bit. Sometimes I think that works just about as well. And it's you're able to capitalize a little bit better on the other trades. I don't think we haven't shown anybody in a while. I'm not sure if this is available in the back office yet or not. It should be. I mean, if it is, I haven't been told where it is. But here's our risk calculator that we have, and this will give you an idea. This is supposed to be available in the back office. I'm not sure if it's there yet or not. I haven't heard it.
I'm gonna reach out to Mariska one more time. If not, we're just gonna distribute it.
Because last time I talked to Bill, it was on his calendar to get things put into the back office. But this is it. And basically what we do is we have all the different currency pairs, and we have what the value of the PIP value of a standard lot size value is reference to each pair. So what you do is, just let's you're looking at the Aussie New Zealand, and let's say, just for example, let's say you have a $1,000 account, which seems to be a pretty standard account size, and you're going to risk 2% on a trade, and you want to risk 40 pips, which is our standard risk level. And let's say we're looking at this case, we're looking at the Aussie New Zealand pair. Have this little drop down and come down here where you can find the Aussie New Zealand. It should be up here. Aussie New Zealand. You plug that in. It gives you the pip value, and now you know that you can do a 0.07 lot size to risk 2% of a $1,000 account. If you get stopped out, you'll lose $20. If you take a 20 pip profit, you're going to make half of that. You're going to make $10. But this is a nice little calculator and it's supposed to be made available in the back. If it's not, we can maybe start distributing this. Put the link in the chat box and let you guys have access to this thing. But it also gives you some little information on how to use this thing. It's just a nice little tool. But that way it helps you position size. So if let's say you take a trade and you use, say, a 20 pip stop instead of a 40 pip stop, well, if you look, then you're actually going to increase your lot size by double the lot size, which means now you're still risking the same amount. You're still risking 2%, still 2% of 1,000, but now you can take a larger lot size, but your risk is going to be a lot tighter. Here's the Euro, Aussie is the gold, USD. Anyway, this is how that works. Gold. I don't think I have gold on this one yet. Symbols. Let's see. Indexes, energy metals. Actually, maybe I do. Market watch. Gold. Put that on the chart. There's a gold chart. Put my template on. I may have to go to the navigator. Oh no, don't tell me.
What happened, man?
I don't know. Oh, here it goes. There it is. I was trying to load my template. There we go. There's my gold template. And usually go over on a 5-minute chart. We have the bounce, arrow. It does have a little bit of a pullback. We have double arrow. Let's see, what are we at in the scheme of things here? So we have a trend-wise, we're in a downtrend with the down arrow. And we had the alert right here. This may be a trade, maybe. Open, and we're going to be at, let's see, 1730, we'll call it. Target, 1735. Oops, wrong way. Here would be the target zone. Here would be the entry. We are in a downtrend. Now, do we have 5 pips, $5 range between here and here? We have $2 from 17.29 and a quarter to 17.27. It's only $2 range. If we can get this thing, see if we can add, see 1732, if we can get this thing up to 1732, if we can get a pull back up to this area, see 1732.75. We would need to have this thing get all the way up to about this area right now to be able to catch a $5 move on the gold. So I'll pass on this one. It's too close to the zone. And actually it's right in between. We starting to get a crossover on this. If you were to take it, you couldn't. You could maybe take it for a little bit, but I mean, it does have some downward pressure. But and you are below the moving averages. We are starting to get across. We did get across here, came back up. Now we're starting to get another cross. But right now we have some sort of it's sort of inside a range between here and here. This is looking more almost like a Fibonacci pullback on me, to me. Go with this one, go from this low. Should be right about, there's the low. Here's the high. Here's our 79 retracement, 79% retracement. It's coming down this bottom 25%. And yeah, I'm gonna pass. I don't like this one yet. It is making new highs. It made a little higher high from over here. Here's a low. Here's a higher high or higher low. Here's a higher low. So actually, I'm looking at this thing sort of channeling right now, starting to actually start channeling towards the upside a little bit. This is where you can get yourself into trouble. Here's an anchor. Here's a hit. This is on a bigger scale. Here's the anchor. Here's the hit. Here's the hit. Here's the third hit. It got rejected off of this. Came back, came down, rejected, came back down, bounced twice off of this little bounce, and now it's coming back up again. This is at a 79% retracement of this up move. And it is in a downtrend, but I think that trend is going to start changing here. Here's the overnight. Here's the money zone from the overnight money zone.
Yeah, I'd probably only look for an up arrow in this.
Yeah, even though it would be contra trend, but it sort of seems to me as though it wants to, just by looking at the zones on our chart, I kind of like this, the fact we got now 2 green and 1 red. I kind of like this more of an uptrend than I do as a higher time frame, longer term downtrend.
Yeah. It's just because you got a higher low, and another higher low, right? And then you've got a higher high and a higher high.
Now this is on a 5-minute chart. Let's go to a 15 and see what it looks like.
What's 15 say?
15 saying we had a strong move down.
That's a big move. That's a big box too.
But look at this wick right here. Look at that wick. Came back down.
That's a great anchor point that you put there.
That's a great anchor point. Yep. So I like this, the fact that now it's starting to channel. I kind of like this. It looks like it came back down. Now it looks like it's starting to channel in a slightly upward direction.
You got a nice wedge there, Al. If you go from that left.
We even like with this right now.
You can kind of do it.
I could probably even tighten it up a little bit. Let's see.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, I was thinking more of a flat top there, Al, from the arrow to your left.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
I'm not sure where the wick of that
wick
arrow is. I can't tell. I can't tell where that wick is on that.
Probably just right underneath there. Yeah, somewhere there.
But it's probably somewhere up around in here.
I think it's down a little bit. Maybe it doesn't matter. It's flat anyway.
It's still fairly flat. But obviously, what's happened is we had a strong. This is an extended range candle. ERC is what we call them. Extended range candle. Strong candle down, came back up. Small little basin right here, and then took off down again. Came back up, retested this area. I retested this little wick right here. And actually, if you were to take a trend line Just constantly trying to find out where things seem to be bouncing consistently off of ranges. Let me move this thing down a little bit to around this candle here. I kind of like when you get the start of this candle, like this candle where it's rejected. Here's an anchor, here's a hit. Maybe move this up just a little bit. Catch both of those. Here's a hit, rejection, came back through, broke, came back up, broke through. Now it's still kind of consolidating. It's it broke out of this range, strong move up, came back down. Now it's back into the wedge again. And if I can move this thing down, maybe check this one out, like a little bit to here. Anchor, here's a hit, break, back into the wedge. And right now it's kind of in a no man's zone, but I do like the fact that we had this strong move down, came back, rejected, came back down, rejected it, made a higher high. Each time it came back down this line, it made a higher high. So I would be more of a buyer down here, which would speak to the fact we have an up arrow off of this 15-minute chart. So this would be kind of like a bounce arrow go, but now you're taking a little bit of heat. If you got in right here at this arrow, you'd be taking some heat a little bit with it. Right now, it seems to be somewhat in this little channel. It's making higher lows, making higher highs as it's breaking through these moving averages. I feel better if this blue moving average was crossed above the 200. Right now, it's still kind of in, it's gradually creeping up to cross over, but it's still kind of gold's been a funny one to trade here lately. It really wants to go up. Yeah, the same thing. The big money people keep driving it back down again. As long as they keep this quantitative easing going on, and they keep on putting money into the economy, keep printing the money, it's going to be harder and harder for gold to recover. Let's see, how's our Bitcoin doing?
What did they print out? Like something like $1 trillion or something? Just over.
It was like 1.9 trillion.
So like
a lot.
And they're talking about another 3-4 trillion.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not going to leave much of an economy for the U.S. because your dollar's not going to be worth nothing.
Well, they just keep on printing as long as people keep taking the dollars. So, but most of that money just ends up in the stock market. The big banks put it into the stock market.
Yeah, the people with all the money are the ones that continue making money, and the people with no money, well,
keep on paying the bills.
Continue to struggle, and the gap gets worse.
As everybody noticed, the gas is going up. The oil prices are going up since they shut down the pipeline, and now we're up to I don't know. I saw something where in Europe it was like $1.69 a liter euro. So you're looking at about $8 a gallon for gas over in Europe right now.
Yeah, that's about us.
It would, fill up
we're paying $1.20 a liter.
You're talking $100 to fill up your car.
Well, it depends what you're driving.
Yeah. If I filled up my truck, it'd be $250 to fill up my truck.
Yeah, it's gross. I had to bring the car to the shop again. Tell you what, beautiful car, a real pain in the butt when anything goes wrong. Yeah, Alar. I'm gonna talk to Mariska and Bill, and I'm gonna probably I think we're just gonna hand it out to people. We have all the disclaimers. It's a locked Excel sheet, so we'll have a little talk later.
wonder if, hey, Al, are you trying to, if you're trying to talk, you're muted.
Yeah, that may have happened. I think Al likes to.
I didn't mean to do that. Thank you. I had no idea.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
I'm just sitting there talking to myself.
It's way too quiet for
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, if it gets too quiet, if you see me doing a whole bunch of stuff and you're not hearing anything, that's probably a good chance my mic's off. Oh my goodness. Okay, so 6:15 this morning, there was an alert with an iris alert, which is a wedge alert. And basically what it was telling us was, where'd it go here? It said it was an ascending wedge on the US yen. So here's the US yen 15-minute chart, 6:15 this morning. It was an ascending wedge, which basically means it's sort of going from low to high. And actually, here's where the alert came in. So it was basically, this is the alert candle. That means that it was referenced to this little the candle just before the line is the candle that was generated the alert system. And so we look, I usually start with a last significant high, last significant low, draw a box around it. Pretty much what I'm doing now with this other system. Here's my playground. This is the box that we're playing in. Make this white here. This just gets back in technical analysis while we're sitting here waiting for alerts to come through. And we had the alert. So we had some pivot highs here, rejection, came back up. Here's my trend line. So here's pretty much where I would be drawing my, so here's my A, my B, here's the C, and then here's the highest part. So here's my wedge. And we had it pretty much broke out right when we got the alert. The alert came right here. This was the alert candle. This one, so it kind of came out, it gave us a little bit of a head fake back into the wedge. Right now, I would not take this trade. I'm not, one is, it's in a range. It's in the upper, right now it's in the upper third of this range. If you draw your fib line from here to here, you see it went into the upper 25% of the range, got rejected. And now I'd be looking at maybe coming back down to bottom, retest this area. There is some room in between this area right here. There's some room in between there. But again, you can see where it broke out. I don't even give us, let's see, 74 to, let's see, 70, it's only 3 pips. Broke out, nice little breakout, 3 pips, came back in, takes everybody stops. We are above all the moving averages. So this thing could be a nice little bounce off of here. Kind of like the, let's see, I do kind of like make this thing a little bit smaller, tuck this in a little bit here. High, low, here's a breakout. Let's see if it has room to the upside, 15. The dollar is stronger, not by a lot. There's not a lot of variance between the dollar and the yen right now on this ticker time frame. I like seeing at least a 3-point spread on the strength between the two currencies. On a 15-minute chart, 3-point spread gives me a little better feel for what direction it's going to go. So anyway, I would not take that. I'd pass on this trade as well. And back to the charts. Let's see where we at here.
Hey, Al.
Yes.
Motion has a question. It doesn't pertain to Arrow. However, he's just hoping maybe we have some knowledge in this department. Sorry about off topic. I switched to Neo from Einstein because of the high deep drawdown. At the moment, I'm waiting for the trade to close. It's been in drawdown for about a month now. Needs to go up to about 1.20841 for EU to clear all the trades. I'm not sure if I should nip it in the bud or wait it out. I really don't know what to do with it. Any help would be great. Thanks in advance.
One, I do not know. I haven't followed NEO at all, so I'm not even sure what all NEO does. If anybody else in there has an opinion about that, I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah, I'm doing NEO every day. What was the question again? I'm sorry. He's in drawdown with NEO?
Yeah, he's in drawdown with NEO. He's been in for a month of drawdown.
Really?
He said
That's weird.
It needs to go to about 1 point. What's the pair on? What is NEO only trade one pair?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yes.
GCAD.
GCAD. So I don't know for
All right,
Yeah.
let me go and put GCAD up and let's do that.
The one thing I'll mention is that if you look at the corporate accounts for NEO, and I can address my own account, I've never had a single day of drawdown basically, except over the weekend. So if he's in a month of drawdown, I question whether he's set up properly. A lot of people have been challenged with the time frame, the time change, and being in trading at the wrong time of the day with NEO. If he's been in drawdown for a whole month, though, there's something going on with his
Excuse
system.
me, Charles. Charles, he corrected, and he said drawdown is with Einstein, not NEO.
Oh, much different.
He just corrected it. Yeah, he was like, sorry.
Yeah, okay. I'm like, how on God's green earth are you in drawdown?
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
And with the wrong.
So what pair are you in drawdown with Einstein? Maybe we should address that issue.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
What's your problem child in Einstein that's causing the drawdown?
EU.
EU.
EU and EJ. EU the most.
EU.
Yeah. EU and EJ. EU is the most.
Let's go EU. I'm still getting used to this EU and EJ. I'm used to British yen or Euro US, so pardon me if I'm not up on some of this latest terminology that's being used. Okay, here's a Euro US.
So you bought at the top.
And so what level you probably, what level, what was your first trade on the Einstein with the EU? What was the price? Let's just assume you got in, let's say you're in a buy position, you're probably all the way down here. So this is.
Yeah. You needed to get to 1.20841 to clear all the
1.20, okay, 1.20.
Right under the 300.
And he bought it at 1.2235.
Need to go to about 120.84. Let's go. Let's just go to 120.84. That's right about there-ish. So it needs to get back up to that level. So you're still basically, if I'm looking at the range, I'm on a daily chart now. So that's pretty much what we're dealing with here.
2235. Higher up.
2235?
Yeah.
That's the break-even point?
Well, something.
You're saying
that's I'm asking is that's where he bought it at.
It needs to go to about 1.2084 for the.
He first started trading.
This is so basically basically he's in a buy position as it's going down, and needs to get up to 2084 to break even to clear all the positions. 2084-ish. So that's basically what you're looking at. You want to be able to get out without taking a bath on it. So the thing is, as he's taking more positions down here with higher lot sizes, then this price is going to come down as well. It'd be nice if you can get it to where I think there's a probably very good possibility that it's going to come up to at least the 1995 area. Here's a nice little drop base. Now, if I'm looking at a Fibonacci, no, see, we have a trend line coming down. Here's your trend line, your upper trend line. Here's your wick, strong move up. Now we don't have the third. Now it's a good chance this thing bounces up. It's going to come up and hit this trend line someplace. Now, if you can catch it at 2084, but that's your break even, this thing can come on up and it could intersect it. Right here's your intersection point, which could be up until, heck, you could be in this thing till May for that, which, but it's realistically, you could very well realistically be in this thing till May. Here's the trend line here. So right now we don't know where this lower trend line is going to stop. We don't know. We can project a little bit, but I mean, right now it's right around in here. If I would be looking at,
go down a little bit deeper, Al. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually I'm gonna draw a harmonic on this. Trying to help the guy out here. There's that. Here's this. There's that. And come on down to about 86. I can see it coming down to probably maybe right around this. Where's my fib line? I can see it coming down right about, well, it could come down to about here, maybe even go a little bit lower to, it could be very well be right about to the point where it's going to be turning around here a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll be looking at that, and if you get a bounce off, you may start getting a bounce right about in this area right here. You down just about.
So he's stopped Einstein, so it's not going to be taking any new trades.
Right.
So,
yeah. But I mean, I think if you just stay patient enough, I think you're going to get a pullback to this upper trend line. It depends. Lots going to be on how deep it goes. I'm going to guess. I would suspect it's going to go. Yeah. So I kind of like this area right in here where it's going to go to follow this trend. I would expect to bounce right about off of this. Where's my, somewhere right around off of this trend line from this X to D area, this trend line right here. That's about 75% retracement off of this move, which is about normal. It's in the lower 25%. So it's already starting to bounce a little bit right off of that on the daily. But it's going to have to break through this area, but I would expect that it's maybe going to come up in the longer time frame, on a daily time frame. I would not be surprised to see it come in, retest this trend line, and if you're looking at your break even, ideally you may end up seeing a bounce off of here, but then it's going to be taking out even longer. But as these moving averages start to churn around, the next time is going to retrace back is probably going to come up and hit this area right in here, which would be right around this area. So, and that could very well be, no, who knows? I see sometime maybe next month, the end of this month. I mean, it could turn around tomorrow for all we know. But just basically looking at this, I would look at a bounce right here. Whenever that happens, that price range. And then see how far it goes, and then it may start getting you out of, get you out a little bit. I'd be more apt to be a buyer down here rather than trying to close out my positions for a loss down there. That's just me. But I do think you might get a little bounce off of this area. And that's about all I can say about that pair. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. Slow day in the alert system. How we doing our trade? Actually, we're up almost 5 pips on our trade. If anybody that took that one. Any other questions while we're still here? We have about another 25 minutes before the 9 o'clock session. Are you running the session today, Matt?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna run that one up. I'm just making sure all my charts are set up finally. Everything looks like it's working again.
And let's
now
see.
there's a request in the chat. Can you please asking what your analysis on the pound Swiss is? on the
Oh yeah,
hour.
yeah, I'm in that one too. So let me take a look at that one.
Okay.
Let me get my trading view over here. Pound Swiss, pound Swiss. See here. Pound Swiss. Yeah, we got into that one yesterday in the 9 o'clock session.
This
And let's make this one big. Put this thing on a. Let's see here. We're on a 15-minute chart. Let me move it to an hourly chart since we took this on as a swing trade. And we took it yesterday. Where did we get in on that one? We got in somewhere around 28.68. So 28. Let's make this a. There we go. Pound Swiss. Let's do it off of this chart here. Pound Swiss. 1 hour chart. I'm just going to clear all this stuff off. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to move some of these zones up here. There's a blue one. Red zone. These are all 15-minute institutional level zones. It's been quite a little run up there since I put those on there. Nobody likes drawdown. We all like profits. We don't like drawdown. Okay, so basically I'm looking at this pivot. We got in at yesterday someplace around in what the price was 109, 128.68. No, I just got that just right. Lucky me. Here's where we got in. This is where we did the buy on it. And so we have a little trend line down here at the bottom. Strong move down, came back up, pulled back, retested this zone. First leg up. So right now I'm still okay with this trade to the upside. Slight little angle, it came back down, retested this zone. So right now this is our demand zone. This is where we want to be buyers and sellers. And I like this level right in here. And let's see if we are stopped. We have our stop. We got in here. We had a 100 pip stop, and that's gonna be right about to the bottom of where that zone is right now. So we're still okay with that part. So our stop is just sitting right here at 127. So let's move that up in here. So put our stop just below this line. And the target's up here someplace. So we have nice little trend line here. We had a little bit of a pullback. Right now it's pretty much making, here's a high, here's a lower high, here's a lower high. So we're gonna put a trend line along in here. And we really want this thing to break through this top channel. Until then, it's going sideways with no real clear direction. So it's making lower highs, higher lows. Here's another lower, higher low. So I'm going to put another trend line. So we have a little double trend line here. This was the entry. So right now, basically, I mean, there's a good chance it's going to come up and retest this trend line to right where we got in. And I would say if you're uncomfortable with this trade, I mean, one thing about swing trades, you may be in them for a week at a time or a couple of weeks at a time. So right now, as long as it's staying inside your range, you're still okay. Our target is all the way up here. Let's see, we set a 50 pip target. So the target is really up right around 50 pips is right there. And that's going to put us pretty much right at this wick area right in here. So that's where I'm going to put my target. Until it either stops me out or gets me to my target, it's you just wait. That's the problem with swing trading, is you can't be in a hurry with them, and you have to give them the wiggle room. But right now it needs to break through the top of this trend line, and then this should be the target up here, which is coming right up into our 15-minute zone. So right now it's still an okay trade. You're taking some heat on it. It went pulled back about 50 pips, but you're still good. We're still okay with it. Just have to be patient. And here's like a straw move down. Here's the left leg of the W. Here's the middle of the W. Here's the second leg. And so basically you can, I like this trend line right here. I say as long as it stays above this demand zone, you can even pull this thing up just a little bit higher if you wanted to. And I say if it comes back into here, you may want to take another position, and then if you take another position, keep your stop where it is, because if it breaks through here, that means it's going to go lower. If you can get another position in this area and it starts bouncing back up again, this could be a little bit of a head fake or a trap. If it bounces off of that, now you're in a better position to actually dollar cost average, which would bring your overall cost average down to about in here. Then all it has to do is break through that and you'll be back to even or being profitable. But I would be a buyer down here, and I would be maybe get out if you're uncomfortable, get out of the position up here. But it's hard to take all that heat and then just get back to break even only to have it come up and reach your target. But that's where the emotions comes into play. And that's my analysis on that. Still no trades. This one's working out nicely. We're up to our 10 pips. We're almost to our target on this one. Now let's go back to this one, Aussie, New Zealand. So this was a contra trend trade. The thing I did like about it was I had the heat map on my favor on this one. It was basing, and then a lot of times when it bases, like I said, when it bases a really long time, a lot of times it comes up, and it may come on up, and I'm going to keep it right now. There's no reason to get out of this trade. Aussie, New Zealand, let me take a look at that one. Aussie, New Zealand, there we are. This is what we're looking at on this one. Here's a 1 hour chart. I like this as a, came on up. We had this, this was the range up. I kind of like this. I like looking at these, the last blue candle, the highest wick to the bottom of the blue candle. Now this is on 1 hour chart, so keep that in mind. And if we can move this to a 15-minute chart, you can see how it came up on a 15-minute chart, came up, came back down, retested this zone. So right, this is where the sellers came in. Sellers pushed it down, came back up, more sellers came in, pushed it down, and now it's coming back up to retest this area up here. So the 109.30 area looks like a pretty good area. You'll probably start getting some profit takers are going to be start coming in right around this area of the 109.24. And right now my target on this one is, where's my target on this one? My target is 109.18, a little bit lower. Okay, that's the 20 pips, so that's good. Our target is actually lower than where the potential 109.18, so we're at 18. That's right at the top of this candle right here. It's already broken through. It's breaking through this little wick right here. Strong move. This was a strong wick. Came up, got rejected. Now, if it can close above that, we should be good up until this. There are no more wicks over here till we get to, actually, if you take a look and we see where this wick is, when it came back over, it's already, price already broke through this wick. You come over to the left, hit the body of the candle, come on up to the top of the candle, and that's where your target is. Here's your zone, the last wick to the next target. So right now we're in that zone. And we're up 13 pips. How much more do you want to go? Don't let a winning trade turn into a losing trade. So they can profit anytime after this point is an okay thing. After once you get within 10 pips, when you start seeing 14 pips profit, you can start seeing some pullback coming in. Let's see where fib zone is on that.
Al, is your mic off again?
No, I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
looking. No,
Sorry.
no, that's okay.
Just
That's a
checking.
good. It's a good call. That's a good call. Good question. No, it's all. I'm just looking at my other charts and seeing if I'm looking for these fib zones. I'm not seeing it on my other chart here. I'm trying to figure out why I'm not seeing it. Huh. I said once this thing gets within around the 15 pips, you're going to start seeing some sellers coming into this thing. And remember, you have to allow it to. It's going to have to go through the spread. You have a spread of about 13.5 to 15. So you have about 1.5 pip spread on this. So it's going to have to hit that target plus 1.5 pips of the spread in order to get yourself a close out on this trade. And it could very well go all the way up to this other zone, but again, it's probably not going to be a clear shot on up to the top there. But we are having some strength to the Aussie. Aussie is showing considerable strength to the New Zealand. New Zealand's lost a lot of ground since we started this trade. And you can see where the New Zealand dollar lost the battle of this basing area, and the Aussies are taking over. Any other questions or comments? Euro Swiss. Opinion about the Euro Swiss stuck with Gearbox on sells for second month. Gearbox. I'll take a look at that. Euro Swiss. So one thing about Gearbox, I just let Gearbox do its thing. I just give as much wiggle room as it needs or wants, and I've been happy with just letting it dig its way out of drawdown. It works pretty well that way. Euro Swiss, let's see. Where's my Euro Swiss on this? I think I'm in drawdown on this as well. Euro Swiss. Actually, I'm not in the Euro Swiss on this one. You just say Euro Swiss, right? Euro Swiss. No,
Yes.
I'm not in that one. Cat Swiss, but not the Euro Swiss on my gearbox. We'll take a look at that here after watch this trade here. Again, I'm not going to let a winning trade. I'm okay with taking the trade profit on that one. We'll see if it bounces off that zone up there. Let's mark that. This little target, see if I was too early or if I was okay with that. Target was 109.23, call it. As I never lost money taking profits early. I have lost money by not taking profits early. Right there, that's kind of where my target was. And it's going to have to go up to, this wick's going to have to go all the way up to 109, call it 819, 109.19 to get filled. That was my trade for the day right there. And let's see, Euro Swiss. We'll keep an eye on this one. Oh, New Zealand CAD came up. Let's take a look at that. Oh shoot, I just hit the wrong button.
All right, my friend, I'm going to go prepare my coffee and get everything up and running.
Okay, Matt. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
All right. We'll talk to you sooner than later. Thanks for the great session this morning.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for being here.
All right.
New Zealand CAD. Here we go. So we have a, why is that New Zealand CAD 15 minutes sell?
You're on a US CAD, Al.
That's why it didn't work. I said, that doesn't look right. New Zealand.
Last column, bottom one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Here we are. Ooh, another one. This is the same type of thing. Strong basing on the side here. Bounced arrow. Boy, there's no volume there. Holy cow. We are in a downtrend. Bounce, arrow, coming back up. And boy, we have this low zone right down here at the bottom. Oh, well, let's see. We are in a downtrend. Arrow down. And we have the zone right here. If it can break through this level right in there, we'll see where it can go. Let's put an hourly chart to see what if we find out a zone. I'm not seeing anything for the last several days anywhere close to where it is right now. So let's go to the other charts. New Zealand CAD. Let's go New Zealand. And then we're going to have to go to a higher time frame to see where we, holy mackerel, look at that. That thing has just been dropping off the cliff. Let's take a look at 4 hour. There's a daily. Have to come all the way to a daily we're in November's zone right now where it was back in November. That's a big retracement. Holy mackerel. Although it looks like it could be coming in. Here's a strong move up. Here's the launch over here. It launched up, came back down. Here's the retest. Here's your trend line. This is higher time frame stuff right here. This is daily. Here's the retest. And so this is going to be here's the anchor, here's the hit, here's the next retest over here. Come into the, get rid of that. And so right now this thing is coming into, look at to bounce off of that, look over here to the left, and you'll see this little wick right here. This is the zone we're dealing with right now. We have here's a wick, wicks, all the way down to pretty much here. This is our demand zone. I would not be a seller at this point, not with this strong move down. I would expect to bounce. If it bounces with only like 1 or 2 candles in here, it may come down to retest this area right now off of this move. Right now, I'd be looking at possibly buying into this area. This is we had to go. I said we had to go back all the way to November to be able to catch a level here. But this is just a strong move down. But like I said, if you look over here to the left, you see where here's the wick, and you're just going to be hitting wicks all the way till you get down to this level, this spot right here. That's the last wick, and then you have this big. So it's got to get through all these wicks and this little pullback. My guess is that there was a strong move up, came back down. Institutions bought in, drove it up, came back down, filled up the rest of the positions, drove it up. And now they're going to be maybe looking to buy, taking some more. There's probably a few more buyers down in this area where the institutions might be saying, okay, it's coming back down. I'm ready to run it back up again. This could be a nice little move to the upside at this level. And let's see. Where did we get on that New Zealand cat? How did we get onto that?
You had an alert.
Oh, we had an alert.
So,
okay, that's why. Yeah, so I'm not buying it down. I'm not selling it down there. It did take it through. There is, you're not going to get, well, I don't know if you'll get 20 pips out of that. I mean, it's a long way down, but you got that other area that you'd be looking at. So this is going to be right around the 87.32. Let me go and put those in here. Uh, 0.8732, I think was the one. And $87.68. That's the zone that we're looking at pretty much. I'll make this one 25. Pick this one down a little bit lower. And I would be having to stop down below 20 pips below that line. Uh, 87, we'll call it 8,700. That would be the stop. So this would be the zone. I'd be more of a buyer down here than looking for a bounce up to retesting that. Yeah, it certainly would be contra trend. You can see it's been in a strong downtrend for quite a while. But I think the downtrend's about to get challenged a little bit. So that's my analysis on that. And let's see, how's our time doing? We have about 2 more minutes. Then we'll let everybody go, and anybody that's wanting to go over to the other session that starts at 9 o'clock at the other room. And
any opinions on that Euro Swiss before we leave?
Euro Swiss, didn't we
Gearbox?
talk about that? Gearbox,
Yeah,
Euro Switch.
Yeah, you read the question earlier. It's still
Okay.
up there.
Thanks for bringing me back to that Euro Swiss.
Sure.
Well, certainly it looks like it's in a daily uptrend. Here's a little pullback. Are you in a long position or a short position? You must be in a short position, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, one thing I don't like about this one is it could, from a Fibonacci retracement standpoint, There's your 30% retracement. It could come back up. Well, I think it needs to, if it only goes to 38%, I think it could very well go on all the way up to this area up in here. You may not want to hear that, but that's what I'm seeing here. This would be I would view this as a target zone. Possibly. Now, if it, and the reason why I'm saying that because it's a nice strong move up, came back down, but now we also have it's starting to, question is, where is it over here? Let's see, that's probably the bigger key right now. It's gonna have to get through this area. Yeah, it's pretty much right there. Okay, that's good. Strong move down, up, trending, breaks the upside. It's going to have to get through this one, and if it, then we'd be looking at this area right here, which is right in the middle of where our target is. Hopefully, with a little bit of luck and keep your fingers crossed that this thing has reached its, it may come up a little bit higher possibly, but I think it may be wanting to start turning around a little bit. And this was a pretty strong move up. It started back in, this was February, so it's only been a month into it right now. So basically, Gearbox is buying or selling. If you get a sell up here, it's not going to take a lot to pull back to this. I would say is if hopefully your break even is going to be somewhere around the 109.29 area. I would say once it bounces off of that, it's going to come back down, retest this area, and we have a little bit of a, I would follow this moving average. And you're starting to get a little bit of a wedge right here. And so I would expect it may become, it broke this. We have, what I like about this is what we came up, it formed a pivot, came up, formed a lower high. Now it's forming lower highs, lower lows. We have a little bit of a trend going on up to the top here. So this thing should start, I'm thinking it's going to start maybe getting you into some profit here if you allowed it to take some of these trades up here. But if you didn't allow, if you stop the trading all the way down here, it's going to have to get all the way down here and then some to break even. If you allowed it to take its trades all the way up, and you had your last trade was like up in this area, it shouldn't take too long to get profitable. But I think you have a little bit, and you're going to have a little zone right up in this area from a daily standpoint. There's your trap. And here would be your target down here, probably somewhere down along in this area. And that's about my analysis on that one.
And it's just about time to wrap it up too.
Okay. Sorry we didn't have more trades today. We did have one iffy one. Some of you may have taken it. Some of you, how many people, anybody in here, give me put a yes in the chat box if you took that trade that we talked about earlier, that New Zealand, that was Aussie New Zealand, I guess it was. How many people took that? Oh, good. Good. A couple people took it.
Yeah.
All right. I said I can't give advice. I can't tell you what to do. Sometimes they look better than others, and sometimes I'm willing to take it. Sometimes I'm not. So anyway, I'm glad you took it. It seems like it worked out for you okay. And with that, today is Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll be here. Tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we'll still be here. And go over and see Matt in the next room if you have time. And if not, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks for coming in. It's always a pleasure having you. Thank you for the questions. And we'll see you then.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.